local.
All right, if you're just joining us, welcome into the third hour. Cattles and Ramie, Sactown Sports with you. De'Aaron Fox, that's the biggest news of the day, has a fractured tip of the index finger on his shooting hand, his left hand. And as of right now, no one really knows if Fox is going to play. There are reports, one including Adrian Wojnarowski's report earlier today, saying that there is some hope that Fox will play. I'm of the mind that he will at least try to play. I think Fox will go out there. He'll attempt to play. I don't know how effective he'll be. I don't know how much it's going to impact his ball handling. It's his shooting hand. He's not particularly a great shooter from distance already, as we know. I don't know if this means he'll completely scrap shooting the three if he plays. I don't know how, impactful he'll be defensively. I don't know how aggressive he'll be defensively. I don't know how comfortable he'll be slapping down at the basketball and trying to defend and do things like that. I don't know how aggressive he'll be trying to get rebound. I mean, there's all these little things about playing with an injury like this, and we just won't know how it will affect him until when he's out there. So the hope is he'll play. If he plays and he gives you 75%, you take it. 75% Fox, you can still win this series if other guys step up. But we just don't know. If Fox doesn't play the rest of this series, I think you're done.
I hope all the gloom and doom today is completely moot on Wednesday night when that game is played. You know what I mean? I hope that the injury is as minimal as a fracture to the index finger on your shooting hand can be, and the impact of it is as minimal as it can be. I hope that the Kings are either exaggerating or, as I've seen some people hypothesize on Twitter today, just flat out making this thing up, a little gamesmanship over the course of a playoff series to give the Warriors something to wonder about as far as how much or what version of De'Aaron Fox they might see, if they see any version of him at all. I hope all this is moot. I hope everything and Nick and I being negative Nancy's or Debbie Downers or whatever you think we are today, I hope that we look really stupid on Wednesday and this doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And De'Aaron Fox is just out there doing De'Aaron Fox things. I don't think they'd list him as doubtful, Nick, unless it was either gamesmanship, the aforementioned gamesmanship, or unless it was a more serious type of fracture than it could have been, and it's either risking his availability or just compromising his ability.
Look, I think a number of things here that you just mentioned. Got to unpack all of it.
But
first of all, I think, the idea of knowing, I said this earlier, and this is something that Alex Levko brings up in the YouTube chat. Why would they announce if he's going to play or not? I agree. As I said last hour, I don't think, Alex, that we should anticipate any kind of announcement. I don't think the Kings will say anything about this injury. They will say the least amount that they can get away with the league. And that's the way they should approach this, by the way. If I'm the Kings, I'm not saying a word. Hey, you figure out if he's going to play or not. So I think that's the approach you go with, and you keep the Warriors as much in the dark as you can. So I don't think we'll hear any kind of announcement. As far as being negative, I don't think it's being negative. And I think it's being realistic. And I understand that Kings fans are very emotional. I get it. You should be emotional. I was emotional when I saw this news. I was angry. But here's the thing. All I'm saying is to me, pretty logical and common sense filled. If you are a team and you lose your top superstar in a playoff series, you are less likely to win that series than if you had that player. Again, that's the premise of if Fox doesn't play. I think he's going to play on Wednesday. So I don't think that's being pessimistic or negative. It's being real. If Steph Curry woke up tomorrow and couldn't play the rest of the series, I'd be saying the same stuff about the Warriors.
We'd be etching their gravestone.
I say it's done. Yeah. Right? So, and I know somebody on Twitter told me that, I hate Sacramento. You hate Sacramento. I've listened to you a couple times. I just can't take it. I don't know why you hate Sacramento. Yeah.
Hey.
I moved my family 3,000 miles across the country to hate Sacramento. That's exactly the whole plan. That was my whole plan from the beginning. Damn, you got me.
Sinister, Nick Cattle. Sinister of you to move your whole across the country.
Evil.
Just to hate.
I gotcha.
Just to hate.
It's a perfect moment, right?
Hater of the year, right?
I've watched all of these Kings games since I've been here, just to hate them.
Shoe-in for hate of the year.
Yeah, that's the number one goal of mine.
That would make you a shoe-in.
Just to hate you, just to hate the city and hate your team and hate everything. And it was a weird reaction because all I tweeted was what I said earlier on the show, and I have no problem repeating it. If you spent all year long telling me how great De'Aaron Fox is, and he's been great. He's been an all-NBA guard. If you've spent the whole year going bananas about how great of a season he's had and how clutch he's been, then you can't today be like, oh, well, if Fox doesn't play, no big deal. It doesn't work that way. What you said during the regular season, you erase all of it if you approach this like, oh, well, they can win without Fox. I wasn't getting any phone calls during the year being like, hey, you know what? This team will still win 48 games without De'Aaron Fox.
No, we never heard that.
And as a matter of fact, I talked about this before this series. Steph Curry missed 26 games and the Warriors still won 44 games. But everybody wanted to react like that wasn't a big deal. Like, when you lose your best player, it's a big deal. So if they lose Fox, yes, it's a big deal. This is obvious. It's not.
We have to state the obvious.
It's because, I mean,
I know.
I feel like.
No, I mean, why do we have to? I'm not saying why are you. I'm asking why do we have to?
To me, it's obvious that when you lose a superstar, the best clutch player in the league, if you lose him, if he doesn't play, yeah, that's a rather significant deal, people. It sucks. I hate it. You hate it. We can all hate it together. But, even though that guy thinks I hate Sacramento, I do not hate Sacramento.
I don't know why you hate Sacramento.
Real hate, man. That's like an art form.
Meanwhile, with Fox banged up, even if he does play Wednesday, the Kings are going to need Domas to step up, man. And yesterday I was so excited. I tweeted about this. For that quick moment, I loved Sacramento, apparently. I tweeted about how Domas was aggressive and Keegan was aggressive, and it was great to see that it was a super solid first half.
Yeah, throw him off your trail every once in a while.
Yeah, that's right. You got to keep him off the scent.
Exactly.
But, if you're watching Domas in that first half, especially early, I was like, yes, everything we talked about, right?
Yep.
Deeper paint touches. Yep. He was aggressive. He was decisive. He was looking for his own. They had screens called for him, inverse screens that try to get him to his left hand. And I was like, this is awesome. Now, he had a first half of 8, 4, and 6. I'm like, he got outside shot of having a triple-double. He could score 20 in this game, at least if he keeps doing what he was doing, right? And then all of a sudden, the second half, he went back into a shell. He went back into a shell for some reason. I don't know why. He only took 2 shots in the third quarter. Like, what are we doing? He had 1 shot for the first 8 minutes of the third quarter.
And the thing that's most confusing about it to me, Nick, and I'm not the greatest basketball X's and O's guys. I'll admit that right off the bat. Football, baseball, I'm much better. But to me, in the third quarter was when they moved Draymond Green onto De'Aaron Fox. To me, just the common sense says to me that should open things up for Domas, right? If Draymond Green's attention isn't on Domas and is on De'Aaron Fox instead, if anything, there should be more there for Domas in the second half. And I know Looney's done a good job on Domas throughout the series, and that's a guy with a lot of experience of trying to slow down big men in this league during his time with the Warriors. But that seemed like the window opening for Domas to really make even more of an impact on this game in the second half than what he even had in the first half. And he just disappeared completely while De'Aaron Fox was carrying the load of both Steph Curry and Draymond Green, chasing him around the court for an entire half.
I don't get it. The fact that, in the second half, Domas had 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Can't happen. Not from an all-star, not from an all-NBA guy, not for a guy who's been so damn productive and consistent all year long. You can't have a half of basketball where you go 6, 3, and 2 if you're Domantas. It can't happen. And that's with a healthy Fox. If Fox plays on Wednesday night, let's say he's 75%, it's even more crucial for Domas to step up. And one of the things that's been bugging me now for a couple of weeks, especially in this series, is that he's also missed a ton of bunnies.
Yes.
Over and over and over again. Tim Maxwell tweeted this out earlier today. Sabonis, he's 9 for 20 on layups against the Warriors. It's 45%. In the regular season, he made 67% of his layups. 67% in the regular season, 45%.
Can't have that.
In this series. Like, if you're missing all of these cookies at the rim. And I'm not talking about when Looney, like, makes a great play or makes a block. Like, he's just missed some bunnies.
Yeah.
He's missing in the restricted area. And, the importance, we always talk about the importance of Fox, and it's deserved. But the importance of Domas, too. Brendan Nunez, before this series began, he tweeted that the offensive rating for the Kings with Sabonis was 120.7. Without Sabonis, 111.5. And so when he's not playing well, your offense is not nearly what it could be or should be. He has to step up and be consistent. He's got to be game 2 Domas. I mean, he's averaging 16 points, 4 assists. He's got 4.5 assists a game. He's got almost 4 turnovers per game. His shooting has plummeted. His field goal percentage in the regular season was over 61%.
I had a thought watching that second half yesterday that Kings fans are not going to like, but we've already done enough things that Kings fans don't like today, right? I was like, he's having a Karl Anthony Towns series, which is not the name you want to hear when we're talking about Domas and performance in the playoffs. He's having at one point, he had more turnovers than points in this series. And he made up for that in game 3, but you just can't have that, man. You can't have one of your best players and a guy who you're putting so much on to just disappear in a playoff series. You with or without De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
You were going to need a better version of Domas probably to get out of this series. And if you somehow squeaked out of this series without Domas ever showing up, regular season Domas ever showing up, they weren't going very far beyond round 1. If that dude doesn't turn it around, even with a healthy De'Aaron Fox, they need him to be better.
Yeah, I mean, Domas regular season shot 61.5% from the field. He's shooting 48% from the field in this series. He's got to be better, man. He's got to be better, especially now with the Fox injury. Even if Foxy plays, you need more from Domas. You just need more from him. Simple as that. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to be decisive. And the coaches can get him going too. Like, get more touches in the paint for him. Like, every time we've asked a coach this year about Domas and the offense, they're like, well, he plays the role of facility. You might have to change the script a little bit here.